Hi, my name is Tansy Wallace, and I'm the Treasurer and Membership Director for the Frederick Douglass Freedom Alliance North Carolina chapter. One of our missions is to educate the public about American history, specifically how Black Americans like Frederick Douglass created a legacy of freedom.
Frederick Douglass was born in slavery as Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey near Talbot County, Maryland. He was not sure of the exact year of his birth, but he knew that it was 1817 or 1818. As a young boy, he was sent to Baltimore to be a house servant, where he learned to read and write with the assistance of his master's wife, Miss Sophia Auld. Frederick's father was a white slave owner. His mother was sold by him, but she would come in the cloak of night to visit him and to comfort him with hugs and kisses. He was raised by his grandmother, Bailey. His first slave owner was Captain Aaron Anthony. They called him Old Master. When he grew older, about the age of 6, Grandma Bailey took him on this long trip to the big house. What a dreadful trip. It took them a long time. That long trip to the big house made a great impact on Frederick, that he included it in his narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, his first book. At the age of 8, Frederick was sent to Baltimore, Maryland, to assist the family of Master Hugh Auld, especially to help their little son Tommy. Miss Sophia, the wife and mother, would read to Frederick. Frederick asked her, "Would you teach me how to read?" She thought it was okay. Frederick learned quickly. She told her husband, and he demanded that she stop teaching him right away, that it was against the law to teach a slave to read and write. This is the first time Frederick understood that learning to read would help set him free. Before we can talk about Frederick Douglass's escape from slavery, we need to highlight the famous fight at the Covey Farm, an incident that Douglass wrote would forever change his life as a slave. After the death of Old Master, Frederick was sent to Thomas Auld, who was a cruel and abusive master. In 1833, Frederick Douglass was sent to the farm of Edward Covey, a notorious slave breaker, to be subdued and made submissive. Covey's methods were brutal: beatings, humiliation, and relentless physical labor designed to crush the spirit. For months, Douglass endured the cruelty, his will almost broken under the weight of Covey's tyranny. But one fateful day, everything changed. Covey attacked Douglass in the barn, intent on whipping him into submission. Something deep within Douglass snapped. Fueled by years of pent-up rage and a refusal to be reduced to nothing, he fought back. For 2 hours, the men wrestled, Douglass matching Covey blow for blow in front of his fellow slaves, who, by the way, didn't lift a hand to help Covey. In the end, Covey backed down, his dominance shattered. Though Douglass was never formally freed by this act, he considered it the turning point of his life. It marked the moment he reclaimed his manhood and dignity. From that day forward, Covey never laid a hand on him again, and Douglass's resolve to escape slavery burned brighter than ever. As Douglass's reading skills grew, so did his awareness of the injustice of his condition. The written word became both a torment and a source of strength. It made him painfully aware of his bondage, but also provided him with a vision of what could be. By the time Douglass was in his early 20s, his thirst for freedom could no longer be contained. In 1838, disguised as a sailor and armed with forged identification papers, he made his daring escape to the north. The journey was fraught with danger. but his determination carried him through. Upon reaching New York City, Douglass finally breathed the air of freedom, a moment both exhilarating and bittersweet, knowing so many remained enslaved. From that point on, Douglass's life was devoted to the fight for justice. His mastery of language, both written and spoken, became his greatest tool. As an orator, writer, and abolitionist leader, he used the power of words to expose the horrors of slavery and advocate for equality. His speeches stirred hearts, his writings opened minds, and his very existence challenged the lie that Black people were incapable of intellectual greatness and establishing his legacy of freedom.